Hello, my friends, and welcome back. Thank you very much for being with me again today. Well, obviously, I'm not in my office. I'm not even in the greatest country in the world, United States of America. I am in Toronto, Canada, visiting family and friends and some other issues here. Nevertheless, I know the light comes from behind and all that. Bear with me. I already made a video prior to this. Trudeau let me enter Canada. Had a little issue with border patrol or agent, or however what you want to call that guy over there, who can determine if he allows you to come into Canada. And he asked me if I have ever been arrested, and I told him I said no, but maybe there was a little aggressive way of telling me I have the power. You have squat, just a baboon over there with authority given to you by a government. All right, so nevertheless, what do we have here? We have a few articles here dealing with the elections in the United States of America, something related to the elections. The other one, Scholz, the Chancellor of Germany. I'm trying to think ahead, and whenever sometimes it's just don't make the connection is not made. Scholz seems to agree that only a political solution, settlement in Ukraine is available. Why? Because they're not winning the war. If they would win the war, then everything would be a little bit different. They will not talk about the political settlement. They will talk about we're gonna pull a Gaddafi on Putin. That's one of the goals, I think, here as well. Next one, we're gonna find out that Mr. Bloomberg, the Jewish American billionaire, he helps his guys by donating about $50 million to support Kamala Harris. This is the war of the billionaires. Whenever we have certain kind of billionaires, you're going to know who they're going to campaign for. Whomever serves their interest, you know who's there. All right, if you know. That's not the American people. Niet. Oh, my bad. I used my KGB training. We find out that, you see, the North Koreans allegedly, or reportedly, however we want to call it, I would say allegedly, are training in Russia. Nothing illegal. But allegedly, they're fighting right now against Ukraine / NATO. And because it's a reflexive move coming from the South Koreans, which is, if North Korea fights somewhere in Zimbabwe, we have to fight over there as well. Therefore, the South Koreans are activated by their boss, which is United States of America, the plantation owner, and they sent a delegation. South Koreans sent a delegation to meet Zelensky in Ukraine, probably to offer their support. In what? I'm going to show you. All right, that's another topic. Switzerland, that country, yes, how do you call it? Blew out their so-called neutrality a long time ago. And with the Ukraine war, it just proved it's part of the plantation, more or less. More or less, why? They give the pretense. They're not coming forward, but your actions prove it. So you can use euphemisms for the actions, but still, if you use synonyms according to the euphemisms, you're going to find out that actually that's a criminal situation. You can call it, I don't know, providing services, giving unwanted, all right? It's just Switzerland is not neutral. Sweden wasn't, Norway wasn't, Finland. It's just they are showing who they belong to. And that's not the United States of America. There's the guy in charge or controlling the United States of America. You know who those guys are? Yeah, the elected officials. All right, move on. So that's, and the last article for today is Iran urges the world to stand united against the victim, Now that's awful. You know who the victim is? It's Israel. That's awful, man. It's awful. I mean, didn't we suffer enough? Give me some money. All right, let's go to the first topic and the first article. The Hill. Washington Post loses more than 200,000 subscribers over endorsement outrage. So what happened? Washington Post is owned by Jeff Bezos, the Amazon guy. All right, the guy who brings you the whatever you paid for. So they endorsed Donald Trump, and they say that they lost 200,000 subscribers. I think the situation in the United States of America is too polarized by the guys in charge with the help of the media, their operatives. We are already to a certain extent, end up with two parallel states in the United States of America. That's exactly what was in the communist world or the socialist world owned by the communists. There was the society out there, the communist, the beautiful society, and then underneath it was the real society or an alternative to that one, which eventually and others, but still the same here. So am I going to buy only from, let's say I'm a Republican, I'm going to buy only from the Republican owned businesses? And let's say Gigi is a Democrat who is going to buy only from the Democrat owned businesses? If that's so, then why don't we just separate and equal then? Dangerous. I said many times before, or I have my gut feelings that this country will end up in a little second, civil war. This war would be about breaking on, I think, ethnic, racial boundaries, more or less, not on the Democrats and Republicans, but you can see that these guys are, to a certain extent, broken into. You have at least three ethnic groups that overwhelmingly vote with others. Only the imbeciles of this color are broken into two, like 50-50. Why? Because the operatives made you be like that. Because if you become conscious of this, as the other groups are allowed to be, and I'm okay with that, then you might do something the owners of this country, that group, will not like it, and there was going to be Hercules coming back and cleaning the stables. In this case, I'm going to put an Odysseus home return. Are you familiar with Odysseus? All right. If you're familiar with the Odysseus story, remember when he came back to Attica, when he came back and all those suitors would try to his wife, take his money, drink his wine. He came over there. I'm just an old man. And then what happened? He closed the doors over there and fucked them all up. And he cleaned the house. Right? All right. I like that story, especially the end of it. This is the end of it. All right, let's go to the next one. So you got 200,000 subscribers, get over. And then you have, if you remember, Keegan, or Keegan, how you want to call him, the husband of Victoria Newland. They're all the same. Who is the brother of the director of the Institute for the Study of War, supposedly a think tank study, right, in Washington, D.C., the ones that the Ukrainians use only to have their war assessments. He also quit as an editor at large with Washington Post. Now, if you start with this kind of, boycotts, then where are you going to end? The problem is you can't, as an elected official in the United States of America, you have to sign a certain kind of pledge that once you are in the office, you will never boycott one country in the world. Can you guess who that country is? What that country is? Well, let me give you some clues. Keegan, Newland, Bloomberg. Okay, now you got it. Go and look at that kind of pledge. And that is garbage. We live in the United States of America or what? Let's go to the next topics coming from the new voice of Ukraine. Scholz, that's the chancellor of Deutschland Uber. Scholz advocates for political settlement of war in Ukraine through Indian mediation. This is because you lost. That's what it is. You lost, and you know you are in the process of an accelerate losing. Not in a speed, in an acceleration of losing. He thinks that the Indians could be used to, organize their garbage. They try to co-opt India like the organizer, but it's our summit. So it's like I bring the circus in your town and I screw up your town, but it's my circus. That's exactly what these guys are doing. And the clowns are all there. You can see them. Scholz, Zelensky Stein, Babunish Stein, all these guys are there. They are the clowns. The problem is, supposedly these clowns have power. And to a certain extent, they have power over us. So who's the baboon here? Who's the clown here? Well, it depends on your actions. All right, let's move on. This tells me they are losing and they know it, but they can't say it. They want to save face, which is fine. Save face. Michael Bloomberg, right here, recently gave $50 million to support Kamala Harris, but only after a pressure campaign. Only after that. I don't care if it's only after that or before that. The fact is, you gave them $50 million. Now imagine, who do you think Kamala Harris will answer the phone? Your phone call, Gigi, or Bloomberg's phone? I guarantee you she will never. And the same is true for Trump, don't get me wrong. So that tells you something about the political system in the United States of America. It is an oligarchy. Oligarchy turning into a theocracy. Why? Not because we have a religion per se. The religion right now is the political correctness and worshipping certain kind of state, singular, not United States of America, using certain kind of language, not to hurt certain things that our children are taught in school, which are lies, exaggerations, and lies by omission. All these things, this is the new religion. That's why we have theocrats, theologians, we are a theocracy and an oligarchic theocracy, let's put it this way. If theocracy and oligarchy together, based on a new dogma, not a religious dogma, but something that became a religion. You can't, now you're anti this, you're anti that, at every little word. You can't say certain things. That's a religion. Why? You can't debate logically. You can't use arguments. You can't engage in an ancient Greek debate. You can't do that. But hey, the bush is on fire because God's burned. Oh my God. That's the new logic of the Western civilization. Awful. Next one. India and China to complete border disengagement, media says. This is fantastic news for the BRICS countries and the world, not for the Americans. The two neighbors have agreed to resolve their four-year-old dispute ahead of the BRICS summit Russia last week. So what does it tell you? There was one problem between China and India. There's some problem between Pakistan and India as well, but I think Pakistan is still under certain kind of occupation by the United States. They have CIA bases over there. They have military advisors. They have money that they give to the government of Pakistan, and it's awful that the Pakistanis and the Indians are not friends. But once they get friendly, we lost. You and I. If you're an American, I don't know, if you're not Biden, you didn't lose, but nevertheless. So that's great news. Great news between these two countries. Don't you like people to be, how should I put it, happy and friendly? Now, Ukrainska Pravda, North Korean troops in Russia. That's already right there, a statement. Well, so what if there are? Ukraine and South Korea to step up intelligence sharing. So South Korea has to reflexively get involved in Ukraine because what? The North Koreans? And you find out the South Korean delegation will visit Ukraine to discuss North Korean troops in Russia and cooperation. And then the North Koreans will cry like bitches when the Russians are going to smack them. Who urged you to get involved in this? The United States of America. Do you think the South Koreans just wanted to go in there because, they wanted? I don't think it's in their interest. I don't think it's in their interest. I mean, wouldn't you be happy to see your enemy's military or troops ranks shrinking because they're going to be by NATO in Ukraine? Are you going to go over there? Why? You're just going to anger Russia. Do you hate Russia? Are you made to hate Russia? And that's so, why is that? Because it supports North Korea now? But before that, what happened? Who was your daddy? Okay, let's move on. Ukrainska Pravda. Swiss president supports lifting ban on arms re-export to Ukraine. And you have a woman, obviously, because they are more empathetic than everybody else, but somehow we had the Queen of England all these hundreds of years with an empire. Fantastic. Swiss president Viola, I thought she is Ahmed. Unheard, stated on Monday, 28 October, that she was in favor of revising the ban that currently prevents the re-export of Swiss-made weapons from other nations to Ukraine. That tells me that someone's losing. Remember, if everything works fine, don't change anything. If you start changing things, don't tell me you're an artist or you want it more detailed. In this case, you're losing. There's another evidence that these guys are losing. And Switzerland was never, I think, I don't want to say never, but at least in the past 30 years, it hasn't been neutral. Next one. Here you have the bad dude, Khamenei, urges world to stand against Israel's quote-unquote war crimes. Netanyahu says, we keep our promise. Well, a promise could be a criminal promise, remember? Unnecessary, it's a good thing that you have a promise, depending what kind of promise you made. Ali Hosseini Khamenei, the supreme leader in Iran, and Israel's Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu on Sunday public comments. For the first time since Israel's retaliatory strike Saturday military targets in Iran, Khamenei urged the, according, world must stand against Zionist regime, not Israel, Zionist regime. And Netanyahu said, we kept our promise and severely damaged Iran's defense capacity and its ability to produce missiles that work against us. Khamenei said in a series of posts made to the social media in English, and according the actions of the Zionist regime in Gaza and Lebanon are among the most horrific war crimes. War is difficult, but it has its rules and laws and limits. The world must stand against the Zionist regime to prevent these crimes, I'm quoting, from being committed in Gaza and Lebanon. A global political, economic, and, if necessary, military coalition must be formed against the evil regime that is currently perpetrating the most horrific war crimes. I watched some videos on Gaza, and mostly Gaza, and watched some World War II videos from and pictures from the Second World War, and pictures from Gaza, and not even close. All right, well, what can we do about it? The only way, I think, the only way to make kind of peace, nothing about the entire destruction of the world, which is the thing that will clear us out, could be disarmament, nuclear disarmament of Israel, if they have nuclear weapons. And I'm personally, I don't have, let's say 99% certain they have. That's the first one. And the protection. But that is control. You can't have over there peace as it is. You can't. There's too much history, too much recent history. The first, as an American, I would like that country to not have nuclear weapons. That could blow my family up for its imbecilic, whatever, self-defense and so on. That's my desire. Now, if they over there, they do what they do, I want them to do it without my involvement. Right? If I want to get involved over there and help the situation, I think it should be help the situation in a controlled way. You can't let them loose, as it is really. You can't let them like that. I'm not talking about only one side. I'm talking about taking the weapons deterrent, let's say, support, but in the guys will go and no, I'm not saying that whatsoever. But there's methods to create a buffer zone between these guys, these two sides. Israel cannot function, I think, as they want us to function. Diversity is our strength. They will function as their own thing over there. They are like this, and they will be over there. But that's it. They can't control France, Germany, or whatever with anything. So is true for the other side. But I'm concerned that they can blow everything up if they decide that, I don't know, God told them so or something, as the land was promised to them, and they are the chosen. It's not me saying that. Read it, and they say it. So that's how things could, be a little bit safer for us. And our, yes, sir, actions over there tells us that our interest is what? To fight them over there so they don't come over here. I think this perpetrates and prolongs something that cannot be left unchecked because they have nuclear weapons. Remember what happened in 1970? What was it? Four Olympics in Germany, Munich. They brought their shit to us, and the German government still pays reparations for those guys. I would have to say, no, you stay over there, keep your thing over there, you do your own Olympics, your area over there, don't bring shit here. Then you blame us for not protecting and all doing this, but when it's between you guys over there, go and fuck yourselves over there. How about that? We accept you to our civilized, beautiful organizations, sports events like the Olympics and all that, and you come and you take a shit and then you blame us. You know what? You're not invited in my house anymore until you fix things. So that's with that. Remember, we are going to go to war with Iran eventually. I don't know if not for our interest, but it depends how the Russians will react. That's all. If they react as the Chinese, the reaction to the Chinese, Jesus Christ. The Russians and the Chinese and maybe others will really say, stop, we're going to go to a world war. We're going to go to an atomic war. Because those guys were not kept in check. Remember, they use as argument their Torah, religious writing. Can you be... Oh! Speaking with me right now. He says, I am supposed to take your country and your wife and your children, if they're well behaved, and your money, because he's talking to me right now. It's promised to me right now. Why would I have legitimacy over you? Because someone, I say, speak to me. That's the argument. What you can do. You do the same. Wait a minute. Now, IG is talking to me right now. And he said, no. What your G said is wrong. He said, he's just kidding, My G is stronger than yours with your dick and so on. He's going to give me your property, your wife, your children, and your money. Okay? All right. You don't want that, but that's my right. It's my promise. That's how the conversation goes. Have you seen Netanyahu at the United Nations the last time? That's how exactly the argument went. But only they can use this kind of argument. Please, my friends, take their nukes out. Take them nukes, and that's it. Why do I say take them? Are you going to leave this kind of have nukes? What if tomorrow Gigi speaks and say, hey, you got to nuke those guys over there. Only then you're going to be winning and the promise and all that. Okay. And then fuck it. Thank you very much for being with me again today. Stay strong, stay smart, look for the truth, and be just.